Hi, I'm Rebecca with Silhouette. Welcome to Maker Studio. Today we're making this rainbow payaki. So for those of you unfamiliar, a payaki is a traditional Polish folk craft, and it's made with natural straw and paper. So we're going to make a modern day version with cardstock and paper straws. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start, I cut out all my paper pieces, which are all from design files within the Silhouette design store, and I cut them out using my Silhouette cutting machine. And then I have my paper straws, and I cut these into 1.5 inch pieces and 1 inch pieces. So we'll need plenty of both sizes. And then I made some paper medallions. So you will need a piece of paper cut and scored, which I've done in Silhouette Studio, and then you're going to accordion fold the entire strip. So I've already started on this side, and it's just folding forward and backwards over and over again, like how you make a paper fan. So once that's all folded, you're going to take your hot glue gun and glue the front and the back, or the beginning and the end, together to make a loop. And then to turn it into the medallion, you want to group all the little folds together so that there's a center. It's kind of tricky, as you can see. It helps to kind of fold them out. There we go. So you've got them all together in the center, and then you're going to use your hot glue again in the very center to add some glue and then kind of push it down so it glues and stays all together. Oh, gotta add more glue. And depending on how hot your hot glue gun is, this could take not very much time or a little bit of time to let the glue dry. Okay, once your glue is cooled, you have your medallion. So we're going to make one of those in each of the 9 paper colors that we have. So you'll have 9 medallions total. And the last step is, if you want, optional, but it adds a little bit of color to your hoop. We're gonna wrap this embroidery hoop with outstretched pieces of crepe paper. So I just cut like 1/2 inch thick pieces of crepe paper, and I'm gonna wrap these around the hoop to cover it completely. And you could also just spray paint your hoop, or you could wrap it with yarn, really whatever you wanna do. And once you finish that, all of your components are prepped and you're ready to start constructing your payaki. This one is about 90% done, but I'm gonna show you each step in order for you to make your own. So we'll go ahead and start with this top tier. I've tied all the strings together to kind of keep everything contained, but you can tell I've left one string empty. So for this top tier, I've tied on 24-inch strings all the way around the hoop, and there's 9 strings total, so just tie them on equidistant from one another. So the pattern for this top tier goes straw, circle in a rainbow order. So we're gonna take an upholstery needle, which is just like a thicker needle than normal. It's easier to thread the twine through it, and use that to help us thread on all of our pieces. So we'll start with a 1.5 inch straw piece, which is what we use for the whole top tier, just those 1.5 inch pieces. And we're going to do a straw first, and then starting with pink, use our scalloped circle pieces and then continue doing straw, and then the next color in your rainbow. So we're going pink to red, and then a straw piece. And just continue on through the rainbow until you've used all of your colors. Okay, so once you've gotten your last color on, we're gonna finish with another straw piece. And that's all you do for the top tier. So you'll do that 8 more times, so you have 9 strings total, like here. And then you kind of wanna position the strings so that they all line up fairly evenly. And then I'm just going to tie a knot at the top so these all stay together. Okay, so that is stage 1. So we're gonna move down to the lower tiers. So we're going to start with the second tier by doing this last swag string piece here. So we are going to thread our upholstery needle once again. And to begin with, use a 1.5 inch straw piece, just like before. And then these will go in a pattern using all the different pieces we've used. So I'm going to use the pink small circle, and then a straw piece, and a red scalloped circle. So I'm going around the rainbow spectrum again. And then a straw piece. And then an orange star. Straw. And then finish with the small circle again in the dark blue. And one last straw piece. Okay, then you can remove your needle. And this part we're going to skip over one medallion and then tie to the next. So it creates like a larger swag. So I'm just gonna tie the twine around the hoop in the same spot that your first tiered strings were tied. Okay, so now you can see we added that last swag, and as you can see, as I've added the swags, I just start with the next color in the rainbow. So if one starts with pink, the next one starts with red, and so on and so forth. So you can just trim off this little twine, and then we'll be ready for the bottom tier. And the bottom tier is just like the top tier, except for we're using the 1 inch straw pieces instead of the 1.5 inch pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over so it's easier to see this last string that we need to do. So again, I've just tied these together to kind of make it simpler. So we'll undo those and remove the string that we need to do. And we'll take a 1 inch straw piece and then follow the same rainbow pattern we did for the top tier. So start again with pink and move through the spectrum until you end with purple. Okay, and then you'll end with, I almost forgot the blue. You'll end with purple, and then we can tie the bottom strings all together like we did the top. And end with the straw piece. So remove your needle, and then you'll gather all 9 of your bottom strings And again, try to get them all to be the right length so they're all evenly hanging. And then we'll tie a knot pretty close to the straws. Okay, so then we'll flip it back over. Make sure everything is hanging properly. And trim any of the string tails that you need to before we glue on the remainder of the medallions. Okay, I think that looks good. So as you can see, we've glued the medallions to the center of where all the strings meet. So it covers up all of those little knots and twine clusters. So I just have a few more where we are still working that I'm gonna go ahead and glue on. And you'll just use a hot glue gun for this, and just again be generous with your glue so that it stays in place. And you can see I've done the medallions in a rainbow pattern as well. I just matched up the flower color to match the color of the medallion above. So, all right. So we're almost done. All our medallions are on and all the strings are complete. So the finishing touch is the paper tassel at the very base, which again, I guess you could just finish it off like this, but it adds a little something extra that I think is pretty fun. So to make that, I just made a tassel template within Silhouette Studio. It's super easy to make. So it's all fringed, and basically you just roll this up all together around these strings down here. So we're going to trim all of these long strings so that they'll be hidden within the tassel. You might want to do a double knot just to make sure the strings are all tightly together, but this should be fine. So I'm going to trim these pretty close and just set those aside. And then you're just going to glue the strings to the top of the fringed piece. So all these edges are fringed, but the top part is still connected. So we're gonna glue that first and then wrap the tassel piece all the way around it. So I'll just take some hot glue and do a little blob and place all the string pieces. So right above the knot. So then we're just going to wind the tassel all the way around. And then once you're at the end, it got a little twisted, so let it unwind a little bit. Once you're at the end, just add more hot glue to finish it off. Okay, so you'll just fluff up your tassel a little bit, and then for the grand reveal, we'll flip it right side up. Make sure everything's hanging properly, and there you have it. So this is perfect for birthday parties or any sort of celebration. It would look super cute in a little kid's bedroom. And if you want a full tutorial for this project, visit silhouette101.com and we give you step-by-step instructions. We'd love to see you give it a try. Share your photos with us and make sure to tag us. We'll see you next time.